I don't want to say it, but there's things in the way.
Yeah, I'm worried that they're gonna just
just knock him over. It'd be the most interesting mic knock that we've had on the show. People always knock the mic on the show.
Yeah.
The earliest is like 8 seconds into the show. Someone's like, knocks it. I've knocked it, I think, in the first minute before. But yeah.
I didn't even think about I was thinking like my hands because when I talk but yeah.
Yeah, well, you can swivel your chair. You can swivel more towards this way if you want. There we go. Still got to wait for this thing to get... You've already knocked it with your knockers. It's already been knocked. Yeah, jeez. Come on, screen. Just go dead. Why is it taking so long, Nathalie? There we go. Finally, it's happened to me right in front of my face, and I just cannot hide it. Finally! No, too much. Way too much. Where do we want to venture today? So we can go pop culture, psychology. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to go? Study?
Sure.
Yeah, talk about study.
Yep.
Go back to the good old days. Where we met. WSU, UWS, was it?
I know. I still call it UWS, and I find myself like, WSU now.
I was correcting it for a while, but now I don't correct it because I talk to them all the time. I'm up there in the alumni. An alumni person. La-di-da. Dean's Merit List, 2013, 2012. Yeah, okay.
Oh, garage.
Did you get the Dean's Merit List? You would have got the Dean's Merit List. You didn't get that?
I doubt it.
You doubt it? You probably did. You're a bit of a brainiac at uni.
I didn't think so.
I think so. We finished together.
Not everyone finished together, but it doesn't mean I was a brainiac. It just meant that I was good at getting things done on time.
Well, they say P's get degrees, right?
Yeah.
P's get degrees. Well, how are you going in your degree at the moment? Like, what's the contrast between the degree you were doing before and the degree you're doing now?
I think it was a little bit more fun. Communications was definitely a lot more fun. The crowd was a little bit livelier.
Mm-hmm. Party atmosphere?
Definitely a party atmosphere, and now it's very much like focus, get your shit done.
Well, it's more clinical what you're doing. So what are you studying now?
Social work.
Social work. So, yeah, that's a clinical environment, right? So you're training more for a direct profession, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting contrast. It was a lot of fun doing film school per se.
Yeah.
What was your major when you did communication?
I didn't have a major.
Didn't you have a major?
No.
You just did communication?
I just did communications. But I think I was probably more into like the film side of stuff because...
Media production.
Yeah, I think a lot of my electives that I did were around like the film-based stuff.
Yeah, because there's one crazy project that you were part of that I thought was really awesome. What was it? Western Suicides?
Don't remind me.
Well, because there were so many adventures that were had on that set and that show.
Yeah.
Or that presentation, right?
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah. Interesting to say the least. But I think we're ready for the intro. Do you reckon we're ready for the intro?
Absolutely.
All right. And welcome to the Pagey train. Today I have the studio with me, Nathalie Jerez, life student, all-round awesome person. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming.
It has. You are someone that definitely inspires me.
Oh.
You've always inspired me.
Vice versa. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about you though. I never put my finger on it. You're just mysteriously awesome.
It's my vibrant personality.
I think it's your directness as well. You're a very direct person.
I've heard that.
You don't muck about.
I like that you've called it being directive as opposed to abrupt, which I've gotten a lot.
Oh, you get abrupt, do you?
I get abrupt, yeah.
Yeah, I get boisterous.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I get boisterous and abrupt. Yeah, I get that as well. But direct. I'm direct.
Yeah.
I've learned that in my emails, like, because it's hard to read tone in an email, and I'm just very, order orientated. Like I issue orders or state something as they are.
Yeah.
In a very direct sense.
See, I'm different with like writing. I like fluff around a little bit. If it's like face to face and I'm like speaking to you, I can be quite abrupt. But in letters or emails or text messages, I like fluff around a bit and I'm just like, get to the point.
Yeah, I'm extremely direct in text.
No.
Too direct. I need to fluff around more. I don't think I think I get criticised for that often. Yeah.
For not being direct? No, for being direct.
For being direct,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes, I don't know, especially in social situations, I say things that, you know, when things exit your mouth and you can't put them back in? They go, blah.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I do that often. I think that's probably why we get along.
Yeah, that's probably
'Cause background critics.
Just accept whatever comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's true. But I guess, we have been background critics. Especially at uni, pointing out, things in our environment and our surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah. What got you? Why did you back? When you were younger. What got you into wanting to do communication?
Funny story. I actually never even considered it. It was not something that I had even registered. What happened was I had graduated high school and I had a solid plan to just do nothing for a year.
It's a good plan.
Yep. And so my mum wasn't happy about that. We had a few arguments. But then I was like, no, I'm doing nothing. That's it. And then it must have been a couple of weeks later after a big blow up that we had. She's like, hey, do you want to come to the shops with me? I'll buy you lunch. And I was just like, sure, free lunch. Great. And so we've gone to the shops and then afterwards we've gone to TAFE. And she's like, you're signing up for a course today or that's it. You can pack your bags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's one hell of an ultimatum.
Yeah. So there weren't very many courses available at that time because it was near the cutoff date. And so I saw communications. There was a diploma of communication and media. And it sounded interesting. So I signed up for that. And then I really enjoyed the diploma, funnily enough, all the media side stuff. Not so much the journalism side, which was originally when I signed up for the diploma, I was just oh yeah, journalism might be interesting.
It's a dying art, journalism.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you learn when you do communications. It opens up your mind when you go to university about such things. Yeah.
And then after my diploma, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to uni and do this. And
that's probably got you really well prepared for that because you were a good student. Because I was one of those mature age students that people go, have you done that assignment yet? I'm like, oh yeah, I did that last night. It's already done, man. I spent 8 hours on it. The assignment's done, and people are still scrambling to do their assignment. And then you find yourself helping people. I really enjoyed that part. Actually, that was another social aspect. Helped networking. I still know a lot of people from university. Yeah. And I still work with a lot of people that I met at university.
Oh, some of my bestest friends, including you, I met because of this degree. So
yeah, it was a very social. That's what I think you tapped onto it before. It was a very sociable. It's communications, right? Yeah. It's kind of goes with the territory. There was we had some amazing parties. We did some amazing work. I think we were really annoying to our facilitators. Oh yeah. Because we were making content we weren't supposed to be making, and pushing the envelope.
Yeah, they either really loved us or they really hated us.
Yeah, I think there was some that really hated us. There were a few that liked us. Big shout out to Iqbal, actually.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly who I was thinking.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Terrifying person though. Yeah. As a film mentor, he was terrifying.
You just wanted to impress him so much. You just wanted him to
not easily impress the man,
not tell you that your work was shit.
Yeah, but you've seen that happen. I've watched that go down. I've watched him shoot films down, and even before there was one that was before my film. Yeah. I can't remember what film it was. Might have been Colonel actually. Yeah. The second film that we had made, and we wrote it with this crazy narrative. And it was to confuse and diffuse people and send them on to more questions. More questions leads to more questions, right? And he really loved it. But the film before that was he just crucified it because he said something like, "This is a film that I ultimately detest. It has no narrative, no beginning, no end. It doesn't answer any questions. It is a total waste of time." All right, Ross, you're up next. What? Fierce. He was fierce, man. Good filmmaker, though. Yeah. Big shout out. Big shout out, Iqbal.
He was great. He, any idea that we had, he was always really quick to be like, yeah, I think that's a great idea, or no, that's a rubbish idea. You need to scrap that and start again.
Yeah. Well, he's the grandfather of Maine the West. Really, like he inspired. He was a part of that inspiration. He pushed us to find platforms and make platforms, and that inspiration was part of the fuel that set up the festival. Really, in a background way.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have happened without him and his support and.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because we were trying to put on a show at the uni, and we couldn't put on the show, and that's kind of how it all happened. But yeah, it was it's a total trip how that's all come about, because now we're partners with WSU or UWS. Like when we went there was UWS. How do you feel about the logo change at the university?
I hate it.
You hate the logo change?
I hate it. I miss the bird. I miss the little bird. I hate how it's just a W now.
The book bird. It's a book bird, right? Because it turns into a book, I think.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, because that's what's on my transcript. And now they changed the logo. That's the part I don't like. Like, I don't mind the W. Like, I get the rebranding and the need for rebranding for an organisation. Like, I get that. But, yeah, the nostalgia of the bird. Like, my sisters went through university under that logo. In fact, my older sister went through university for free under that logo.
How things have changed.
Oh, yeah. Look, do you know what pisses me off about that? Is the people that made the ruling to make university have HECS, to have a student loan, people that got their degree for free.
Exactly.
They went and got a law degree for free because the government paid for it. And it had an obvious change in society for Australia. It gave more education into the wider spectrum, which creates innovation, right? And that's giving people opportunity. Opportunity to education is really important. Literacy is really important. And multiple types of literacy, social media literacy, computer literacy, language itself. These things are easily lost through corporatization. They really are. Like they don't want us being critical thinkers. But the irony is that for innovation to occur, critical thinking is required.
Yeah.
It's you can't have one without the other. You can't grow without it. So it's this tug of war of ideas, or the lack of ideas, to make things the way that we've always done it. We've always mined coal, right? We've got to keep doing it that way.
Yeah.
But I think the census came out recently, and the millennials are now the biggest cohort of voters.
Are we really?
Yeah. It happened this year. We're now the biggest cohort of voters.
That's interesting, given the recent election.
Yeah, well, the baby boomers have been reigning for some time, but they're all in retirement and passing away.
And this is like the most seats the Greens have had in like.
Oh yeah. I
don't even know. Yeah.
Now they've made history.
Yeah.
A lot of history was made in that election. And the message is clear, right? Like, we go through these floods.
We want change, yeah.
Oh, we want to change 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They not asleep at the wheel, willfully ignorant at the wheel. Like,
Yeah.
they know, like, they even, I think there was that, when Abbott was in, like, so how many prime ministers have we had in the last 10 fucking years? Abbott, all that time ago.
Yeah.
There was three of them standing up. There was Morrison, Abbott, and Dutton, actually. And they had a hot mic moment. And they said, they would be negotiating if water was lapping at their door, referring to Fiji.
Yeah.
So they knew. Like, they fucking know. Like, we saw years ago billboards remember the drought?
Yeah.
We were in a drought before the pandemic. And I saw signs around Western Sydney, big billboards, have you got a flood plan? Like, they knew. Yeah. They all knew. But, there's just this inaction. And the technology's there, man. It's totally fucking there. Yeah.
The socialist in me just wants to burn everything to the ground and start again.
Yeah, well, you need a degree of socialism, right? There's a balance. There's a balance to capitalism. Because capitalism works, but it has its faults. Like, you could argue that you could argue communism against capitalism and talk about their strengths and weaknesses. Like, for instance, the Russians, man. They were putting people in space while the Americans couldn't. And that was, that was off the relics of a communist regime. But they were still a space faring country. Right, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of innovation, a lot of coordination, and this shift is crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy.
It's crazy how the Russians can be so like ahead of their time, but then so backwards in like other things.
That's right, because you could do that contrast to communism, but people that are in communist countries would do the same comparison to capitalism. Is my point? Like, you can argue to and fro about how we make civil decisions, and we obviously, for us in in Western society, capitalism is not what we want. Like, we want freedom of choice. Like, we like the idea of colours, in fashion. We like the idea of freedom of music and freedom of ideas, because we believe that these ideas, allow us to flourish.
Yeah.
But then we have, factional governments that are in our own society that are suppressing that. Because think about it, man. Climate change is not. If you think about it entrepreneurially, businesses out there, like, they don't think about it as a problem. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to think about it. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. If we figure out how to fix the climate here, perhaps we can build the climate elsewhere. Craters on the moon that are growing fucking weed, man. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just read. No, I've got a crazy theory about this. I don't know. Maybe Aaron. Hey, speaking of which, I just big shout out to Aaron, who's our guest producer for the night. It seems these days that the Pagey Train's always getting a different producer, but I've just got this crazy theory, and maybe you can check this out for us, Aaron. If you were to grow something in low gravity, it would grow bigger. Right. So if you could growing stuff on the moon because it's less gravity, it would grow bigger. Do things in lower gravity grow bigger? Yeah, let's just figure this out. Because I've got this crazy idea, right? So you terraform a crater on the moon.
Right.
Yeah, and you plant a whole bunch of weed. And it grows bigger because it's in a lower gravity environment. So you've got, like, super moon bush.
What makes you think that the aliens don't already have their moon bushes?
Yeah, moon bushes on the dark side of the moon. It's probably. Yeah, what's that say, Aaron? What have we got in NASA? Funded study, scientists in Florida. Long-term goal. Oh, where is it? Seeds to compare researchers. Where is it? It's got to be something we walked away on that. Here we go. After plants have grown for 20 days, researchers harvest the plants and prepared it for the study. They express the gene patterns matched in the way that which researchers have, I don't know how to say that, Arabibiopus, react to the stress before in other harsh environments. Soil carries that. Yeah, see, it's not telling us.
It's giving us nothing.
It's giving us nothing, Aaron. Thank you very much. No, but my crazy theory is that things in lower gravity would grow taller because there's less resistance. So I was thinking
That makes sense.
So we need to go to
the moon and grow some weed.
Yeah, that's it. But if we figure out climate change, we can do that.
Yeah.
And that's my point. Like, who knows what technology would come out of that? And if we're going to be a spacefaring organisation, I think we're better to start than the Earth.
Yeah.
You got to have that entrepreneurial mind. If we can control the climate, imagine that, and we can actually control the climate, and even perhaps control storms. Imagine if we can control hurricanes and go, right, we're going to set the hurricane to happen on this day and make everything prepared for it, ready for the impact. Because we realise that hurricanes perhaps are a natural process that needs to happen to the environment. But we only need like a level 3 hurricane to occur every 3 years to keep the balance.
Yeah, well, that's similar like with bushfires, don't we? We do like burning.
Yeah, back burning, yeah.
So you could be onto something.
Yeah, I reckon there would be things there that obviously need to occur to stir up the system, but I reckon there would be parameters that you could operate in that were okay for humans.
Yeah.
And you could prep for those moments and have them targeted and controlled. And you could go, well, that's science fiction, right? But not really when you think about it. If you think about the problem that we have, that's where we've got to go, is to understanding, well, perhaps not control the environment, but work with it in unison.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably an idea in that is there is an element of control. Like, I think it's strange that we mow our lawns, right? We do, because we control our environment, right? We want to make it all neat. Like when we plant a hedge, like in nature, plants don't like grow in a line. They grow randomly.
Right, yeah.
So we make these gardens that are all controlled. We're essentially controlling the environment, right? So my idea is just an idea further into science and further into research to how to do that on a complex global scale. And the more we research that, the better that we can do that, and the better we can do it elsewhere. Is the exciting part about that problem. We don't look at it that way. I think we should.
On a side note, I actually really love watching mowing videos.
I do too, I must confess.
Like those landscaping where the guys like go mow like a horrendous yard. Someone's just like overgrown yard and they just like time lapse.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about, actually. Yeah. He goes around, knocks on their door and goes, "Can I mow your lawn?"
Yeah. And he's like in Western Sydney or something. I think he's like in Tilapia? No, Carlingford? Somewhere around there.
No, Carlingford, I think it is.
Carlingford?
Yeah. See if you can find that guy. Mowing guy.
Mowing guy TikTok.
Yeah, mowing guy TikTok. Because I watch him do edges.
Yeah.
Because, like, edges for me are fucking horrible. It used to be a horrible experience. No, because you got the whippersnipper cord breaks, right? And you got to, like, the amount of, like, I used to count the amount of times that my whippersnapper cable would break during a mow. And it used to be a high number, but now I've got it down to 0.
Type in Western Sydney, because I think that's usually where he is.
Yeah, man, I like the, he goes around and he tidies up these yards. They're pretty cool. Is that him? Sydney Lawnmower, Tricks and Trade. No.
What's that first one there? TikTok star becomes viral hit?
Viral hit, that's the one. Yeah, here he is. This is the guy.
Is it the guy?
No, I don't think that's the guy.
That's not the guy.
That's not the guy.
There's so many.
There's so many. Yeah, but I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that dude and he does
and
the
his
time lapse.
profiles, I think it's like an animated picture of like someone mowing the lawn.
Well, I've got a friend that does cleaning and they do time lapses of cleaning. Yeah.
No, I ain't about that.
Yeah,
I do cleaning at home.
Her name's Nathalie, actually. Big shout out to Nathalie. Oh man, that camera's gonna fucking die. Shit. I'll have to get round to that later. I thought I put in the good battery. Obviously, it was the shit battery. I know someone who does time lapses for cleaning, and it's trippy stuff. Like, what about people that watch films to eat?
Me, I'm obsessed with mukbang. I am obsessed with.
Is that what you call it?
It's mukbang, yeah. Like, and it's just watching people eat. And I think it's become worse now that after my gastric sleeve surgery, and I'm like very limited in what I can eat. And now I just get a lot of pleasure. Not sexual pleasure, but just pleasure from watching other people eat.
It's on the direction to sexual pleasure, but not over the threshold just yet or quite.
It doesn't tickle my pickle just yet.
It doesn't tickle the pickle that far. Yeah, watching people eat, I don't know. Yeah, well, what's the other one where people listen to sounds?
It's like ASMR. Yeah.
ASMR. What's ASMR stand for?
I have no. It's like audio.
What's that stand for, Aaron? Audio something. What do you reckon it is? ASMR. Audio sensory meridian. Autonomic sensory meridian response. Okay. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I was just like, it's going to be audio something.
Yeah, no, I did not expect that. Yeah, but what's the deal with that, do you reckon? Because you were going to get into that.
I was, but
what was the desire for that?
I don't know. I just thought that a lot of people really enjoy, listening to people do things, but then, I don't know.
Because that sort of thing fascinates me. It does, because when I build Foley, I look at a soundscape, and you're looking for those sounds and figuring out how to do sounds. And then after you do that for a really long time, you listen to sound in a different way. You see it more visually, is an experience that I've had with sound. Becomes more of a visual space as well, or a rhythmic visual space, because when you edit, it's a rhythmic experience as well. So you've got this visual rhythmic experience, and the vice versa is with sound being rhythmic and then attaching to that visual idea. And I find, what is it, ASMR? I was watching this chick eat a pickle.
That would drive Aaron mental. He hates the sound of chewing.
I didn't even like you doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found it profound. Like, I go, yeah, that is quite relaxing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit relaxing. I think that might be what's behind it. All right, so let's just go back to your origin story. Coming out of communication arts degree.
Yeah.
now you're doing social work. What's driven you there? So going from this social aspect to this clinical aspect.
Well, look, I think I've always had a love for helping people. I used to do volunteer work in high school. I used to do like Vinnie's Van, and I used to enjoy it. And I think I've always just been quite conscious of, people in need, and growing up with like immigrant parents, I've been quite understanding of like the struggle of, people that come into a country not knowing, what to do and, how to get resources. And so I think that played a part in it as well. But also I went through a situation of domestic violence, and I think going from there and getting assistance with a social worker and getting like a domestic violence specialist to help me, and like a psychologist to help me as well. And I think that really sort of pushed me in the direction of like, hey, I could be helping other people the same way I've been helped.
Yeah, okay. Because, I guess, I don't know, the thing that in me that likes to help people, especially in first aid, this is something I get out of first aid, is having knowledge to help someone that is in need, and leading that idea, and knowing that I'm comfortable with that idea, because not everyone's comfortable with those sort of things. People, looking at a gory situation wouldn't be able to handle working with it. But I think it's the same with mental health, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Dealing with emotions can drag you into the situation. Like the first rule with first aid is you assess the danger.
Yeah.
Because someone's been hurt, you want to make sure that whatever hurt them doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
And I think there's an element of that with psychology and dealing with mental issues, is that if you get involved with those ideas, you need to have a clinical understanding of that space, because otherwise you would get dragged into that negativity and those problems. I think there's that. I think there's an element to it.
There's like a huge, thing around self-care when it comes to like social work and like psychology and anything where you're going to be dealing with people and their sort of mental health issues and complexities and trauma. And that's like one big thing they really like lean on us during the degree, is just like self-care. So, like, you can help people and, do everything you can, but keep in mind you can't help people if you're not well yourself. And you get burnt out. A lot of people get burnt out in social work.
Because you're dealing with heavy topics, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're dealing with like things that it's disturbed them, so perhaps it's going to disturb you.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult line.
Yeah. I think it's even part with like social work, you'd have to have like supervision as well, so that, whenever you do feel quite like, overloaded and stuff, like you've got someone to like lean on and, vent and be like, hey, like, I've had a really tough week, and, sort of get it off your chest kind of thing.
Yeah, to decompress, right?
Yeah.
Because you're taking that on board, because that's information that you're taking on board, and you need to look at it clinically. But yeah, all of us are human, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be an element of dealing with it. I think another common thing would be to look at ambulance drivers. When they're overworked, they become highly stressed. They end up with PTSD, and I think that dealing with mental issues with people has that element, and you have to have a special kind of character to do that, and a desire to do so.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I guess from my perspective, I've never obviously never talked to anyone clinically, but I've always been an ear for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with a lot of heavy things with people, especially being. Where were we, Nathalie?
I
don't recall. Talking about mental health. That's where we were. We're talking about mental health.
And ambulances.
Yeah, that's right. There's I guess look at it from a veteran's side of things, and that is that if someone's depressed, a good way to get them out is to jump in the pit with them and meet them eye to eye.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you risk being in the depression with them. And with veterans, generally they are more receptive with other veterans because they can share like stories. But I imagine like dealing as a clinician. Is that right? Can I say that?
Yeah, practitioner.
Right? Practitioner. You'd have to have a broad scope for different patients, right? So, and that scope as well would bring. That's where the complexity would be.
Yeah,
it's not a run of the mill scenario because everyone's so unique.
Yeah, but the problem is like And I feel like it's probably changing slowly but surely. But I think the problem is with a lot of like industries with like social work and counseling and stuff like that. There are people that have empathy, but then there are also a lot of people that don't have empathy that are working in this industry. And it's very clear coming into this sort of role and seeing obviously older generations of social workers, and they just, I don't know if it's just times are changing and we're a little bit more conscious of certain things. You know, the world's changing, being respectful of people's pronouns and you know, all these different things where I find a lot of like older social workers aren't sort of as switched on, or they've just like, you know, there's just a lack of empathy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard that a few times from people in your field.
It could be that they're burnt out as well, and they've just hit a limit where they just don't care anymore.
Yeah, where you get calloused to empathy because you've seen it all.
Yeah.
And it becomes non-surprising. You pass surprise. But yeah, I don't know. That's a delicate balance, right? Going into that, like, I don't know. With my own depression here and there, like I always worry about it. It's always something I worry about. Because it's a bad way to be, especially through trauma, reliving trauma, being stuck in a trauma loop. It's the worst. It's the worst thing. I can hear Misty's desk going up. Can you hear that? But yeah. So how far are you into your degree?
So I'm currently doing my final placement, which is 600 hours.
Shit.
Yep. And then I will hopefully graduate April next year.
Wow. So
4 years, which turned into more like 6 years for me because I took 2 years off when I had Fox. So...
Yeah, so being a mum and having a family, doing university the second time. Total 180 from your first experience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like we said before, like first degree party university. Like it was, I'm pretty sure I was just like getting drunk before classes. We were at the bar, having fun, having threesomes in sound studios.
Jesus.
It was completely different, and now it's just like trying to juggle. Oh, like he's homesick from daycare, so now I've got to get an extension for this assignment that I'm not going to get done. Yeah,
because doing it either which way, whatever your scenario, doing a degree is super hard.
Yeah,
and it's a really hard thing to do. Like they don't hand them out. You've got to do the work.
Yeah, there's
no getting around that. But there's also learning. Like the learning never ends. That's one thing that I figured out halfway through uni is that I'm going to be learning forever. Because that's what they teach you.
Yeah.
They teach you about broad spectrum and teach you about broadening your horizons and investigating information. Where's it sourced from? What does it mean? How do you articulate that?
Yeah.
And how do you reference voice? How do you find your own voice? And that's why I like, when I do hires, man, I love people that have worked at Macca's because I know they can put up with a lot of shit. And
I've never worked at Macca's in my life.
No.
I've never done any fast food or anything like that. I think my first job was the reject shop. And then...
See, that's good. Yeah, retail's good, though. Still, any retail's really good.
No, I hated it.
Oh, no, it's good for a hire, though.
I shoot myself in the head if I ever have to go back to retail.
Yeah, but again, though, it means you can stick it out. That's what it says in a resume. Like when a young person goes to you that they've worked in retail, especially somewhere like Macca's, because they're in a corporate environment as well, which also has its own challenges. You've put up with a lot of shit. Someone has finished a degree, worker. They're gonna work hard for me.
Yeah,
you just know that. It doesn't matter what the degree is. You just know. You know straight away. I think 2 degrees. Shit, man, what a trip.
Full on.
That's full on. 6 years. Like I remember doing 4 years, working 3 part-time jobs. Man, that was intense.
Yeah.
It was super intense, and I'm a highly motivated person. And I was knackered. Didn't sleep a lot.
Yeah, I don't feel like I sleep a lot now. It's kind of hard when you've got a 3-year-old who doesn't have a normal sleep routine.
Yeah. What is a normal sleep routine anyway? Isn't it always crazy for kids?
Yeah.
all parents I know are totally exhausted. Every parent I talk to is always exhausted. It's just a constant
state of exhaustion.
I don't know, but I'm always exhausted. I don't have kids because I work on a lot of things, though. It's the same sort of thing.
I think it's a different kind of exhaustion. It's
Yeah.
like you've been broken down to like nothing.
Well, I mean, you can't compare it to having kids, right? But I mean, like, you know, I just think any pursuit's going to be exhausting, but kids are especially exhausting.
Yeah. Like, I love him, he's great, but also help.
Please help. Blink. Blink twice if you're there. Yeah, totally. But like, let's go further into the flashback. Let's go back to the communications. You got to do a couple of movies while you were at university.
Yeah.
One of them was Sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a bit of a personal one. That was my baby. Yeah.
That was your baby. It came out pretty well, that one.
Yeah. And I love the cast that we got for it. Maddie was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put a lot of heart and soul into that because I think that was the one where it was my script for the script writing class, and then I developed the actual film for, I think it was media
production.
something like that. Something, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to cross-pollinate like that. I always did that. Like, I remember doing an essay on Fight Club. Because I like the movie Fight Club. They go, you need to do an essay on a movie.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, I watched it 47 times. You know, fuck you, Fred Durst. Anyway. I just try to do things like that were interlinked and that were of interest. But, I remember I was in a pub with you and you were talking about doing a script and it turned out to be night hours?
Night Owls.
Night Owls. I'm just ashamed it didn't turn out better at Night Owls. I was always disappointed in that way. You know, it could have been... It was so well performed. It was...
Jeremy, which you've had on the show before.
Yeah.
Was just brilliant.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a find he was.
Yeah, man. I still talk to him.
Yeah.
I still talk to Jeremy. Big shout out, bro.
Yeah.
He's a really cool
He
individual.
really brought that character to life.
Yeah,
It was... Yeah.
Oh, same as Sonny, man.
Oh, yeah. I think that just the chemistry between them two was great, and they really knew how to bounce off each other.
Well, hopefully I've got Sonny coming up on the show soon. Hopefully, if I can get her in, she's got a very busy schedule. She was in she's on Stan and Netflix at the moment, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a science fiction film, science fiction Australian film. Hey, can you check it out, Aaron?
Well done.
I think it's an Australian film about just type in Australian film about Earth runs out of oxygen. It's one of those movies that's got a year. It's the year. It's like 2046 or something.
2067.
Yeah, 2067. Yeah, Pull that up, man. She's in that. She's the girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I was doing this job for APDG, which is like the Australian production APD. Production Design Guild. Sorry about that, APDG. And I saw her in there because I was doing like promos for them and they were advertising this film. I'm like, oh, I know that chick. She's down in Melbourne at the moment working on a ABC show, I think. So yeah, she ended up on the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that all started from Mold, which is Jay's baby. Yeah. And Night Owls. Just the color correction in Night Owls kills me, man. It just kills me.
Look, as I don't know, I see the errors and I recognize it, but I also still really love the film, and I think I can look past all that stuff and be like, you know what, I love it for what it is. And
I do. It got a good. I reposted it like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and it got a good reception. So I was happy with that. But I was just upset. I entered it in Made in the West and I didn't get in. Yeah. It just sucks. It's hard to get in Made in the West. But it still applies. But yeah, man, again, though, you've been a great ambassador for Made in the West, being our social media rep. You've been there since the start. Yeah. You probably even remember the parties we used to chuck back at the start of Made in the West. It's come a long way. Yeah. It certainly has.
Crazy to see just how far it's come.
Yeah, 11 years. It's been 11 years. Like, that's how long ago. Like, we were second year uni, I think, when we started it. Yeah. Whoa.
And I think that's pretty much when I met all you guys as well, second year of uni. I know it's when I met Jay. Again, you've had him many times on the show.
Well, Jay is the, I don't know.
Heart.
He's the heart, yeah. That's a good way to put it. He's the heart of, he's always in the background. He does a lot of stuff. Yeah.
He does a lot of stuff for me in my personal life.
He does a lot of stuff for everyone. Yeah. he's a stuff doing dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like my liver, as I call him. Like I would be lost without him.
Well, I've got him in my phone as Johnny Liver.
Yeah.
You know, so I've never changed it. I've still actually got you in my phone as Nat Uni, which I think is hilarious.
That's. I don't know why I thought you would have had me as like Batty Natty or something.
I think I have had it as Batty Natty, but it reverted back when I transferred my phone.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, because I upgraded.
I'm offended. It should be Batty Natty.
I should put it as Batty Natty. But the reason I call you Batty Natty, because I don't know anyone on this planet that likes Batman more than you.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Batman?
Yep.
What'd you think of it? I haven't seen it.
I loved it. I get why people are a little bit like meh about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. But look, if it's Batman, I love it. Like that's literally it. Like if it's
Even Adam West, you're a big Adam West fan.
Yeah. I think my Batman for me is Michael Keaton. That's my Batman.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's like the one true Batman for me.
He's your Sean Connery for James Bond for your
Yes,
Michael
exactly,
Keaton for Batman.
Michael Keaton for Batman.
Well, it was the breakthrough one, really.
Yeah. If you watch the animated series, Kevin Conroy might be the breakout.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's another good point. I do like the animated series of Batman,
Great,
though.
yeah.
They are pretty good. They're surprisingly good.
Yeah, it was all designed on like black paper and like just using coloured like penciling and
I
chalk.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they did a different animation technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Brilliant.
Because I've watched a few different types of animations, because obviously there's different techniques to do it.
Yeah.
The one that I always found fascinating was back in the day, Disney used to do glass animation. You draw it on glass.
Wow.
And that's how they do the frames. It was all glass. So it was glass frames.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you can see when you watch, I think like Snow White, like the original Snow White, it's all done, with glass.
Wow.
And when you compare the animation, you go, oh yeah, it is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It has different, luster and different, transparencies.
Yeah.
They're different. And I always found that fascinating. Especially, animation is something that I've always wanted to get into, but I just don't have the patience for. Like, you've got to be super patient to do it.
I wish I could draw.
Yeah.
That's like one skill I wish I had.
Well, you've seen my storyboards. They're horrible. I draw the worst storyboards in the world. It's all stick figures. Stick figures that are poorly drawn.
Yeah, mine are like, I've tried to make a human shape, but then, I don't know, there's certain parts of the body, like the hand looks all wonky and, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do hands. Yeah, no, I do like 3 prongs. 3 prongs is a hand. I can do that. But yeah, but storyboards are really important, right? They're really important.
Yeah.
To make a flick. But I know so many directors that don't use them. Like a lot of directors don't use them. They just do a shot list.
Do you find it's easier to do a storyboard over a shot list?
Time effective. It's time effective. Storyboards take time.
Yeah.
Because a big aspect of film is shortening how much time it takes to do something. But yeah, I've done for different films. I've done shot lists only. But the storyboards are always better.
Yeah.
Always way better to direct a storyboarded film. But yeah, I'm hankering actually to direct another movie. I really am. I got the privilege of being in one last year.
Yeah. As
an actor, but I want to direct my next movie, and I just don't have the time. It sucks.
Time.
Yeah, man, because you do the festival, do all the commercial work full time. Something's got to give at some point. You go, well, it's going to be my baby.
Yeah,
it's the film.
You got to release that creativity somehow.
Somehow, yeah. Well, my band's folded in, so I don't have a band at the moment. So I'm stuck with karaoke, which is big shout out to the Bin Chickens. Actually, it's going really well. Well, I do crazy songs there. I do like heavy metal songs that people don't expect, and do crazy shit. But yeah, so it's pool, and I've just been playing pool and doing karaoke lately. I should do more creative stuff. I've got to do more writing.
I need to do something creative. I feel like I haven't done anything creative in such a long time.
It starts at writing though, because you're a writer. You write stuff.
Yeah.
Or when you are writing, you're a writer.
Yeah.
You write stories, and I write stories, and I just haven't been writing them lately. Like I've got like 5 scripts that I've written that are ready to go.
Yeah.
And I've got even cooler projects, like I want to do my GoPro into space, where we're doing this documentary that we've set up. Got it all lined up, just got to trigger it.
And I'm scared of triggering it because as soon as I trigger it, it means I've got to do a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
And that is, it's as much as it's not a feature length, but it's as much work.
Yeah. It's scary to commit time
Yeah.
and effort and work.
Well, the best way to commit is to enroll people in your idea.
Yeah.
Because then you're committed to them and you have to deliver. And
Exactly. It's kind of holding yourself accountable.
yeah, it is. And I'm just at that trigger point with a few projects, and I'm just so hesitant because like it's tricky times as well. Because like we're about to go into a recession probably. Like it's tricky times, and we don't know what the future's going to hold.
Yeah.
But I think that's a shitty reason not to make a movie. It's a shitty reason not to make a movie. So I'm going to pull my fucking finger out and do it. But yeah, just do it, man. Just do it. Yeah, I don't know. I want to get back into another band as well. I want to get back singing. Yeah, I don't sing enough.
Well, you've got a beautiful singing voice. So.
I do. I'm a fucking angel. Well, look, I think we've reached the end, Natalie. What do you
Have
reckon?
we? Sure.
Yeah, sure we have. Have we covered everything? Do you want to cover anything else? I think we're good.
Not that I can think of. Although, mind you, I am sort of half asleep tonight.
Quite lethargic,
I've been up since 6 a.m.
Well, look, let me just say I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud to say that you're my friend. And I just find our destinies inextricably linked for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't put my finger on it. I just know that you're awesome, and I don't know why.
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I feel like you've done a lot of mentoring for me, especially during our first degree.
Yeah.
You were a huge help. So, and I think just that bond that we created when we graduated together, it just really solidified, the friendship.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. As I said, you're one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm glad to be here.
And guys, you've been watching the Pagey Train. You can check us out on Spotify. That's right, video on Spotify. And you can check us out on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and tick for notifications. If you're an avid listener, you can check us out on iHeartRadio or Apple iTunes. You guys have been watching the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. I love my outro. I'm really happy with my outro. A little bit drunk though. A little bit drunk. Shit, man. Thanks for producing, man.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Aaron.